Hey all, and welcome back for the finale of Bayonetta 2 for the Nintendo Switch. Well, we know the truth now, although what that actually means I'm still not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that that's very much the same for quite a lot of people. We'll get even more of the exposition dump this time around. But right here I came in because I wanted to get... oh yes, there's the Earrings of Ruin. Delightful things. Oh yes, I was just having a look at what was available. Just going to buy the Super Mirror 64 too, just because why not? Have some extra money burning a hole in my pocket. Not that you're going to see any of it, but there we go.
Oh, bless. Alright, there we go guys, the finale.
Yep, sovereign power. So you're finally going to find out what all that means, but before that, we've got an homage to sit through.
What is this place?
We're in my time. But there's not a moment to explain. We need to get to the sacred mountain now.
What is upon the mountain?
I don't know. But it's where the god who created the eyes of the world once lived. And now someone is after that power.
The eyes. How can we reach that place? We are in Vigrid.
Hoo-hoo.
Time to jump!
Jump?
That wasn't a request. Go!
Have you lost your sanity?
Sanity is a requirement for our...
That sounds poignant, although I'm not really sure it works in this context, but whatever, we got a fucking fighter jet now.
And your kind are?
The kind of witches you don't fuck with.
Yeah, boy!
I don't like you much better this way, Balder. You actually shut up and follow directions.
I do what I choose.
I'm going to fight you in the first game for saying that to me.
It's, just the name I heard that witch, the one you called Rosa, call out to you.
Oh, she's such a bad liar.
I would not be so sure of that, witch.
Spent the entire game trying to get to the top of the bloody mountain, and then we go from Vigrid to the top of the mountain in the space of about 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, if we came here in anything other than a biplane, this probably would have been a much shorter game.
Yeah.
Here's mine. Time to tango.
So yes, Jet Fighter Assault. And this right here, basically just a massive Star Fox reference, and also a bit of the Space Harrier in there as well. If you come into this particular chapter wearing the Fox McCloud outfit, then the Jet Fighter turns into an R-Wing, and the controls basically become R-Wing controls as well. So you have bomb, you have the lock-on feature and all of that, and it's a wonderful homage. I do believe that it is part of the reason why Platinum got the ticket to make Star Fox Zero. Obviously, end result of that was not quite as most people desired. It's still nice that they got the opportunity to do that.
I'm not sure it was fully a Platinum joint. I think it was like co-developed with Nintendo or something.
Yeah, it was a mixture.
So it's not like a Platinum standard Platinum game. And sadly, that has been it for Star Fox since then. Just watching this is making me nostalgic. Like shit, I want another 64 tier game.
Yeah, I think ultimately what they need to do is they need to go back and reflect on what went wrong with Star Fox Zero. It was the controls, let's put it that way. It was also the fact that it was basically a retread of Star Fox 64, which we did not need. So, you know, if you created a Star Fox game with a brand new story and worlds and levels, but just kind of kept the core fundamental gameplay, but maybe just sort of shifted up a few little things, made it a bit extra, and the controls were just normal, I think you would have a much more successful game. Yes, this is basically the same as obviously the Space Harrier section that we had in Chapter 14 last time, which is cool. Though I would say that this one is definitely easier on the brain and the eyes, because when you dodge, the entire screen doesn't rotate.
Oh,
so
it's
not as taxing as that was, because that was slightly hellish.
Remember how we were talking about accessibility in a previous part?
Yes, that's the type of thing that gives you motion sickness. This is a lot better.
This dude's design is so pleasing to look at.
Oh, without a doubt. And actually, you know, briefly on that accessibility point, one of the things, I can't remember whether it was the original Bayonetta when it was ported to Wii U, or whether it started with this one, but they actually introduced a one-button mode for the game. So basically you can play the entire game just by pressing one button, and there was also touch controls, because obviously it was on the Wii U, and they put them into the original, when they ported the original game to Wii U as well, which is a great way for making things more accessible, because it means that you have a few more options for difficulty and also play approach.
Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory has a one-button mode, doesn't it?
It's obviously some people don't have the dexterity to hold multiple buttons on the controller at once, and particularly for this type of game, you're often just frantically moving your fingers around the different buttons, so yes, so it's a nice thing to see, but also verse 1 was angels, verse 2 is demons, because of course, because we're fighting all the angels and demons because everybody is getting really antsy about what's going on that mountain.
Yeah, Jesus. I can see some type of structure on the tip of the peak though.
Yep, and that is where we are heading.
It'd be funny if like the final demon to try and stop us was Andros.
Part of me kind of wishes that that were the case, but unfortunately it's not.
Only I have the eyes to rule Lilat. The only way this sequence could get any better is if this fucking thing transformed into Starscream.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, any sort of transformation I think would be particularly glorious.
This thing was a level in a previous chapter. I just want to put that into perspective.
Definitely a lot easier to beat when you've got hand missiles to work with.
And obviously, when the person directing the game isn't Hideki Kamiya, he's a lot more forgiving, this director, I feel.
Although you do have to be quite quick on the ball with this attack, because otherwise that can hurt.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, it was alright. It's not the best, but did the job.
Why can't you be an adorable little Citizen that weighs like 10 pounds?
I mean, I think that was everybody's question when they saw Loki. It's just like, why couldn't you have been Teresa?
What, like a few years older or something?
We're here, kid.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would have been down for that, or you know, just
you were so damn determined to get to.
not an annoying, sarcastic little brat.
Okay. You just don't like the MCU style equipping, I guess.
I mean, no, I'm fine with MCU quipping. I think the problem is that the game's already full of wisecrackers. Because you've got Bayonetta, you've got Jean, you've got Rodan, you've got Enzo, you've got all the other villains. It's I mean, it makes sense that obviously he's wisecracking as well. But I think I think it's because there's a smugness in the tone of it. I think that's what it is.
Convenient.
But you're certainly
And it's a smuggler's that actually only works with the villainous characters.
The only thing you have to offer me is your sovereign power. Then you will be truly worthless.
Mate, you're still wearing that fucking snuggie. I'm not going to take you seriously.
Yeah, no, neither am I, because it's just a little bit ridiculous.
Hurry to the temple.
So yeah, we jump off there, but somehow end up pretty much at the top of the mountain, just a little bit higher to go.
Okay. I'll roll with that, I guess.
Don't know how it works, but oh well. So now I'm going to do my final weapon switching. We're going to bring Alrona through with us. Put Love is Blue back on, so and also get some Celine's Light in here. So we're going to have some whips on our legs.
Why not?
Because, yeah, the whips are glorious. And there is our final Witch Heart, all put together. There's the gloriousness of the whips. Mixed with the chainsaws, because why not? And there's our final Muspelheim.
Alright, let's see what it's going to give us.
Don't get hit.
I'd expect nothing less for the final one. Give us all you got.
So this one is obviously a challenge, because this guy can be really cruel. But that's partially why I am making use of some of the most powerful weapons in the game. Because the thing that is really cool about Alruna is that because it can grab enemies and fling them into the ground, so it just ends up being something that just bashes things in, and you can bash enemies against each other. It's glorious. There's our final Moon Pearl.
Oh, it's all come together.
New do, dead you.
Quite right.
I've heard better from Bayo, but whatever, that's nitpicking at that point.
So yes, if you're taking on the, I think they're called the Witch Trials, or the Lost Witch Trials, or something of that ilk. Basically the same thing as the Lost Chapter Angel Slayer in the original game, which is a bunch of extra hard challenges that you can face. It's fairer this time around, because rather than kind of one full kind of run that you've got to pull off, and they split it into the 5 different sections for the 5 different difficulties that you got to face.
Okay.
But yeah, it gets really difficult as you get to the end. But Alruna is a very, very helpful weapon to have in your arsenal. And there's the final Lumbering Crow as well.
It seems like only yesterday we were struggling to get that one thing over and over and over again.
So yes, you can pop to the gates of hell if you'd like for one final time, but I think it's time to go and rescue Loki once more.
Welcome to Thimbleventer.
And also, we finally made it to the top of the mountain and we're not going to get knocked back down again, thank the Lord.
Well, the final boss could be falling down the mountain fighting the guy. Don't count your chickens before the rush.
You're not wrong.
Everything.
Stop talking about falling. I'm fed up with falling.
Bayonetta, get out of...
Balder. This is what I promised you. Your chance at revenge. Accept it freely.
Really? You gotta fall for that?
No, Boulder's much too clever for that now.
He's also not colourblind, so I don't know how you expected this to work. And the fucking forehead.
That is your revenge? Is this not the one who destroyed your world? Who destroyed your life? Surely this can't be all you hoped to see.
I think this is the other thing that I do find slightly less satisfying about the finale of Bayonetta 2, is that it is much more Boulder's fight than it is Bayonetta's.
I agree. I was just taking time to process some of the sick happenings on screen right now. What the fuck is Bayo's stake in the plot now that Jean's resurrected?
Basically, it's you're attacking my charge that I've taken under my wing, therefore I'm pissed off with you. Also, you're trying to take away the red eye, which obviously Bayonetta still has.
Yeah.
Because Boulder was the left eye, and Bayonetta was the right eye. But also, you know, she just can't be doing with assholes, really.
Especially ones wearing snuggies. It's a fashion disaster.
Yes.
It's more a poncho than a snuggie, I realise, but I've started the joke, so I'll continue.
To freely control the eyes of the world. Unfortunately, this one made quite the miscalculation. He had not accounted for the power of evil intent which grew as humans prospered.
So once again we return to the very commonly used trope in Japanese games of a god wanting to destroy humanity or take humanity down because they ended up being evil. And going, no, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to fix it. Thank you very much. Like the amount of games that I've played now with that as the narrative thrust is quite a lot, and I may or may not have used it myself in my own writings.
I swear, if I pick up a copy of your book and like there's a character called like Bayonetta, and she has to fight Boptor, I'm gonna fucking submit your book to some kind of authority for copyright infringement.
No, there's nothing quite that bad, although there are some lovely homages that you'll recognise if you actually know the moments. So obviously, since the plug is in there, Burning Ash, you can buy it on Amazon. Thanks!
Merry Christmas, buy my fucking book.
Take him if it pleases you. He is nothing but an empty container to me now. I have no more use for him.
So why did Loki have that Millennium Puzzle of his to begin with?
I have no idea. Like, the puzzle's literally just a design choice. I don't think it actually has any meaning whatsoever.
Don't worry, I got the kid. You've got my permission to show him your stuff, Bayonetta.
Thanks, Luca.
What's that?
Just some fool always swinging in out of nowhere. Albeit with absolutely impeccable timing. I suppose not even a god can see him coming.
No, he's just so insignificant I didn't bother to, stop him.
But also, he was genuinely surprised because he was not expecting it.
Left eye of darkness must return from whence it came.
Then just try to take it back. You've destroyed more than you know.
So yes, now we begin. So the fight against Lopter is obviously multi-phase, as you would expect. But this phase is very much in line with his Lopterisms.
I like that.
And to be honest, it doesn't necessarily change a huge amount. He just obviously gets more and more moves as we go along. And I tried to do a bit of using Alruna and Salamandra, but in the end I was just like, no, back to Love is Blue. And then a bit of the other bits as well when needs be. Old Faithful really helps.
Old habits die hard, guys, especially when you're recording Let's Plays.
Do be prepared to get hit a lot during this, if you're of the same gameplay level as I am or worse, because he's a fast-moving bugger, he is.
I'd expect as much from a god.
This is one of the other things that I look at Bayonetta 2, and while I do love it, and I do think it's an excellent game, this final boss fight does not live up to Jubileus and the greatest Jubilee that we faced in the original game. Because even though this Blighter is going to get bigger, he is not going to end up, you know, near planet size. And particularly as this came post the Wonderful 101, which has one of my favourite final bosses of all time, it was a bit like, okay, especially when contrasting to Jubileus. It's like, okay, it is technically a better fight, but it just doesn't feel quite as satisfying in the long run because of all the things around it, unfortunately.
Do you think there's like a case for saying Bayo 2 suffers from sequelitis?
I would say so, and there's certain things where they've clearly tried to go bigger and go better. In the areas where I would argue that it matters, they didn't go big enough. I think if there was a phase of this fight where he was truly gigantic, if, you know, that there was a phase where he was Jubileus size, I think that would have satisfied me a little bit more. Like the final part of the fight was him at that size, would have made me happy. But as it stands, him in his true form as Aesir is only this big, and while I think it's a really cool design,
Yeah.
I really like it, because obviously it's very heavily inspired by like Hindu mythology and so on, and the background's glorious. It's just like, size-wise, it's like, the fort bigger, mate. You're not intimidating. Also, the fact that I can see your crotch, which is currently genitalialess. Which, I mean, thank God it is, but I don't need to see that, thank you.
Humans need not be told that their will shall be.
And then the other part of it is that, for at least parts of the fight, we get Boulder fighting alongside us. So it doesn't feel quite... which is awesome, and I love it, because it's father and daughter fighting together. But obviously it doesn't feel like quite as much of an epic struggle as fighting the World of the Trinities.
We may stumble, we may fall off the path, but we always move forward.
This is a Shulk tier speech right now. In fact, it's kind of mirroring the end of Xenoblade Chronicles.
Bayonetta, shall we illustrate?
Let's rock.
Here we go.
Yeah, the arena and the guy himself's getting top tier points for his eggs.
Literally, my only complaint is size. Like, just make him bloody bigger. Give me a gigantic version of this Blighter to destroy.
I didn't realise you were such a size queen, Richard.
When you're playing this type of thing and your opening boss fight was Gamora going up a skyscraper, scale-wise it just doesn't quite match up.
Fair enough.
Even if, like, technically and in terms of the approach you take to combat, it's a really fun and interesting and exciting fight.
I'm liking his unique health bar down there.
Oh yeah. And then we are also going to have a couple of awesome little sequences in here, because we've got some planes that are going to do some bomb runs on us. There is one quick time event in this which I do absolutely adore. In part because it relates to other Platinum properties.
Ah, of course. I was gonna say, why not just destroy the platform?
Yeah, so we destroyed the platform, so now we have lost Boulder because apparently Boulder decided he couldn't fly right now. So we are on our own for a bit. But yes, lots of chaos going on around here, which perfectly makes sense because he's the god of chaos.
I mean, he technically should be able to, like, rewind time and whatnot and split Bayonetta into atoms if he's this powerful.
You would think so, but obviously Bayonetta ain't standing for that, thank you.
I'm merely pretending to be weak. You are not winning. You're not. It's a godly level of cope going on right now.
You can see me just going, oh god, this is so much damage. At least I'm going to be able to build it back up in the credits. This is it. To anyone who's played Vanquish or the Wonderful 101, this should look familiar because it is both the spaceship in Vanquish and also the Shirogane Comet in the Wonderful 101. And Bayonetta just turned it around with her pelvis. That woman has legs of steel.
Fucking snoo. And that's the end of that chapter. You may be nigh on immortal, mate, but that health bar tells me you have a limit.
We're going to have a rather quite hilarious end to this boss fight when we get to the end of it. I like how both of us are just sat here just going, yes, just watching, taking it all in.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to let the gameplay speak for itself. You know, you can't do a blow-by-blow sort of commentary. That's obnoxious.
There we go. Boss fight basically over. There's one final phase that we're going to get to go through. But the challenging part of the fight is over.
I thought you were all out of cards.
Nope, still got one left, and I still don't know what it does. Pot of greed, go!
Until just the right timing, mate.
Am I meant to understand what that means exactly?
So basically, what Loki just did is he
The real power of Lord Aesir
erased the eyes of the world.
the power to erase
into nothing.
anything and everything
Oh.
in the world. Even the very eyes that created it.
No! Whoa, hold on for a second, kid. What happens to the world if you...
Any good card player is a gambler, right? Either the world will be destroyed, or it will create its own path. Human free will determine which way things go.
He's so mad. Like, without that body paint, he's just naked.
Now he's basically easy pickings and we just get to obliterate him.
Jesus Christ.
Double team final summon, which is the incredible Omni.
Umbra and Lumen together at last.
A mixture of Jubileus and Queen Sheba. And obviously, the Infiniton returns, and she is going to do the gloriousness of drop-kicking him out of his body.
Good. You were fucking lame. Bye.
Unfortunately, it's not quite as glorious as sending Jubileus' soul into the sun, but we do get to guide Ace's body into the gaping maw of Jean's Gamora, whilst Moon River Climax makes plays.
No, please. Don't let me get bored. That would be awful.
Love it, it's hilarious, it's just not quite as epic as the death of Jubileus.
From what I saw there, yeah, it was a fairly decent final boss, and, you know, fair play. He took a lot of damage, but it still gave you the platinum.
Thank God.
Return to another place in time. Create a new era. One that cowers to my will.
Shit! He's trying to shed his body and return to the spirit realm. He'll just be reborn in a different era.
And this,
What are you trying to do?
right here, is why Boulder was evil in Bayonetta 1.
Ah, okay.
You'll never see another era trapped inside me.
So it's kind of like a time loop then.
Basically, Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2 together continue that idea of a stable time loop, and it's why I can't remember whether Hideki Kamiya described it as such, but I've definitely always seen it as being two sides of the same coin. They are a continued story that loops back in on itself, and you can't really have one without the other.
You know my name?
I guess that's why people are speculating that Bayo 3 takes place in a, like, different timeline or universe.
Because the first two are so inextricably linked.
Cereza, just one time. Call me Daddy.
But Boulder, please, no, don't say call me Daddy. Could you just say call me Father? I know that's a bit more on the nose, but it doesn't sound as creepy as saying
Sweet child.
to your adult child, please call me Daddy.
Please call me Father from the Bayonetta soundtrack by Platinum Games.
Boulder has returned to his time, and the time loop is set.
So this is roughly about where you should start playing the HFC playthrough of Bayonetta 1. Go ahead and load it up.
Not quite. You'll get a you'll get a stinger which provides the pure moment of when you need to start playing the original Bayonetta again.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we've got a really cute ending and a fantastic ending scene.
Will I see you again?
Hard to say. I'll come back to this world someday. So if you're lucky, maybe we'll meet again, love.
Little one,
I'm not little, and I have a name. It's Aesir. I mean, my name is Loki. And I think you can quit treating me like a kid now.
Then I'll call you by your name when I see you again. As a man.
Do you think Loki's going to show up in 3?
Probably not, if I'm being
Well,
honest.
that's fine, I guess. At least I know
I'd be
what I
fine
want to
if
do
he
when I grow
did.
up.
As much as, you know, I harp on and he does annoy me and I don't think he's necessarily the best character in the world, he's still part of the Bayonetta universe and he's fun.
See you around, Bayonetta.
Goodbye, little one. And you can call me Cereza.
Sorry, love. But you still don't strike me as a Cereza.
Luke is just like, yes, I was here.
Decent final boss, but yeah, it still stands that it was mostly Boulder's story rather than Bayonetta's.
Yes, but now it is several days later. Bayonetta has a beautiful new outfit. And Jean has one too.
Much better after the holidays. And the distinct lack of acts of God doesn't hurt either. Can you believe they tore my dress to shreds?
Love a good bit of bookending where you begin and end in the same place to sort of see how far you have come with your story.
And we hope you guys have had a good Christmas, because this will obviously be going up on Boxing Day.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you guys have that holiday in America, but it's basically where we stuff ourselves with leftovers and whatnot, and by God, sometimes it's a little bit better than Christmas dinner.
Very much so.
Soreza, cat got your tongue.
Holiday sales are usually always very excellent for getting some good deals. But generally it's just like, no, I'm not going out to the shops on Boxing Day, just going to stick in with the family, thank you.
Hell yeah.
Hey, come on. How long do I have to keep doing this? Investigative journalism is big in January.
The gates of hell goes down, and so does your anonymous source, my friend. Now keep driving.
Ah, nice bit of blackmailing.
I'm not the one with the endless tab. Where is that deadbeat anyway?
So yeah, we kind of forgot about someone.
Just kind of dropped out of the plot.
You are getting
Yes.
now to get those new heels. Come along, Enzo.
Oh.
Damn it! I forgot Enzo. Oh, I was wondering why there wasn't a shield.
Sorry, I just want like an alternate Bayonetta 3 where you have to go to like heaven to rescue Enzo.
Wait for me in the plane.
I would totally be here for that.
Again?
Fucking really?
Of course.
Wonderful. That's the second dress in a month.
Yeah, she's not having much luck, is she?
No. Well, it was on sale, so.
Not that Jean's had much luck either, although I think both of them are quite happy about that little faux pas there.
We've got work to do. Now you're speaking my language. There's only one way to ring in the new year.
Quite right.
Let's dance, boys.
Fuck yeah.
Iconic.
So, Richie, Bayonetta 2, we finally got round to it, and I had a fun time with this. Obviously, I didn't complete the game myself, but I did play through most of it, and I gotta say, I feel it's superior to the first game, gameplay-wise, in a lot of ways. Story-wise, I greatly prefer the first game.
Yeah, I mean, basically that is the way that I view Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2, now that 2 exists, is that they're both excellent games, and I love both of them to pieces, but each of them does certain things better. Bayonetta 1 has the better story, the better overall feel as a package, and sort of the better consistency of how the levels are approached and so on. But Bayonetta 2 is much more accessible as a game to people in terms of opportunity to play and get into the gameplay. It's not as hard, it's much kind of more fluid and so on and so forth. And also there are some really good improvements that they made, including like the whole change to the QuickTime events. Even though I would personally say that the original Bayonetta is my favourite of the two, they are pretty close because, yeah, it's just certain things are better in one and certain things are better in the other. And that's another reason why I kind of go into that whole they are two halves of the same coin. And obviously we get the return of playable credits, which I am always down for. Only criticism is that I much prefer the original Let's Dance Boys from Bayonetta 1, and there's no dance music video at the end of the credits, which I was just like, I'm sorry, what is wrong with you? This is expected, and it wasn't there.
Is it?
No, there's nothing. There's a pole dance during the credits, but there's no. But that was the same as Fly Me to the Moon. You get the pole dance to Moon River. There was the original Let's Dance Boys that appeared as a music video after the credits as a stinger, and there's nothing. And I was just like, oh, I was looking forward to it.
When I said, is it, I was more saying, is it did it set a precedent just by appearing once?
It did! Like, this is all how you put your game together. But either way, I do love Bayonetta 2, and I can't wait to see what Bayonetta 3 has to offer. I just hope that it is as good as the first two. If it goes on to improve things, amazing. But as long as it just matches the standards that were set by these first two, I will be happy.
Bayonetta free playthrough for HFC?
We shall see.
Coming up next for Richie and I, we have a playthrough of LEGO Sonic Dimensions. So look out for that along with Flame in just under 24 hours, I guess, if I'm looking at the schedule correctly. But in the new year, for a completely, duo joint with Ntom64 and Richie, we'll have Kana, British Spirit, aka the best indie game of 2021.
And then at some point after that, hopefully in February, we will be getting to the wonderful 101. Finally.
We're very much looking forward to that, mate. And hey, this is another playthrough / game crossed off the bucket list for both you and HFC. Very happy to have finally done this. I was kind of a bit apprehensive going in, because I was like, would I be a good enough co-com for this? Like, do I add enough to the whole thing? But I've really enjoyed my time here, so thank you for recording the game for us.
And thank you for letting me record it again.
Thanks for watching. I've been Ntom64.
And I've been Richie.
And we'll see you next time for another HFC playthrough. Bye-bye.